The word or the vocabulary controversial inept or originate from the negative perspective. But if you look at somebody who's positive, will say a sweet political bill. Mm-hmm. It can be a nice political bill, whichever vocabulary you take, isn't it?
Right.
You could also say a new dawn in politics of this country. Mm-hmm. So anybody who's got, any writer will give it any name, and you can give it a good name or a bad name.
Right.
So depend on which perspective or which dimension you are taking at it.
Right.
Yes.
But when we are talking about this bill in itself, before even we get to whatever it entails,
yeah,
it is already out there that this is a bill to propel Raila Odinga's candidature. Is it true?
Well, you see, if it is to propel Raila, and if you say in that perspective it's true, then it means he has won. But at least as politician or as Kenyans, or a bill cannot propel one person. It destroys so many people. Mm-hmm. It also destroys so many people. So this bill, we cannot say that it propels Raila on that perspective, mm-hmm. but it can propel Kenyans. Mm-hmm. Because you see there's a lot of trajectory. Right. So for those people, for Raila, mm-hmm. those people who oppose Azimio, they'll say, oh, Jubilee and all. But all in all, you know, when you win, anytime in a league or a football match, when you win step by step, you win League 1, League 2, League 3, in the other perspective, it will also interfere with other results. So people see that this is a winning team. Mm-hmm. So in this scenario, Raila and Uhuru is on the winning batch, right. And this can propel them. Mm-hmm. Even on next Tuesday, we expect they will also win. And so
sure about that?
They have the numbers, because they have the numbers. They have the numbers. This is Raila has 24. Mm-hmm. Uhuru has how many? So when you add 24 plus others, you'll see there are around, out of 47, right. They have a good number.
Very true.
Yes.
We'll be coming there to the contest of numbers and how it went, and what does it mean also with the projections of the 2022 9 polls.
Yes.
But coming back here, you know, talking about this as a fact that it propels Raila Odinga,
yes.
people view it from this side also.
Yeah,
like, for instance, they feel that the UDA seems to, you know, gain momentum, and they want to craft themselves and also create something that it will be match the strengths of the UDA party itself.
Yes, the UDA has performed very poorly as far as this one goes. We were expecting a lot. You see, when they were going to the Karen, we saw a very huge number, 156. They had numbers, they could flash it in every time. We have the numbers, bring it, we shall deal with it. Then you come and get 104, and you saw the way they were acting. Even they were adopting the code way, the odium way of 10 years ago, where people were very combative, and you could see a lot of hue and cry, a lot of. So we were expecting them that their wing will have a different perspective of doing things, and even their numbers would be bigger than that, because the MPs, when you talk about, they're around 349. Mm-hmm. So when you talk about the number, where are these other people? So it means that they didn't do a better job, because you could see 45 to 55. So that's a bigger margin in terms of population. If you take 55% of the population, mm-hmm. Oh, that's a lot. Right. There's about 20-something millions mm-hmm. out of that. So we are saying that they should do better. We expect them at the Senate House. They should use a different waveline. We expect them. They should have a decorum. They should articulate issues, real facts that will translate to the people. You see, when we are talking, you are addressing issues affecting the people. How is this bill going to affect the ordinary person? Because we know them, they've been talking about Mama Mboga, mm-hmm. they've been talking about Mama Pima, but this bill, surely, when we are talking about the coalition, party coalition, what wrong is it? Mm-hmm. Because even them, they would like to have a coalition. Because we have seen the deputy president quoting Okoa.
Right.
They are telling them come, even yesterday. So how do you oppose on the other hand, and the other hand you are embracing? Right. So we would expect them, when you go to the Senate House, let them agree on these issues. The other litmus test is that they are also preempting that they now want to go to court. So it means that you say you want to have a coalition, which is a trajectory, which is a dynamic or political scenario in Africa today and in the world today. And at the same time you say we are losing, meet us in court. So what does it reflect? That you are opposing everything? Because we can now predict what you are doing, isn't it? So that's not a good way of doing things. When we talk about politics, you see we have three arms of the government. We have the executive, where the deputy president, the president are the one, head of that, the executive. We have the judiciary, where the chief justice is Martha Koome. Then we have the legislative part or arm of the government, where the members of parliament, their work is to make laws. Right. Now, when they are saying that we are going to court after this, it means they are now subrogating, they are now delegating, they are now taking their role to judiciary. Then we shall say we should do away with the parliament. Then we have the executive and we have the judiciary. So the judiciary can also be the lawmaker, they interpret and the rest. Right. So whatever is being discussed in parliament, if it's a bill and it has passed through the procedure, it has passed through the bill stage. Why do you go to court? Let the outsiders go to court, but not you. And you say in the parliament, the lawmaker, I'm going to court. Then you don't know your role.
And talking about whatever is happening in Parliament, and also we've seen also the Parliament in itself, in as much as it's quite an arm of government, has been on the receiving end to the fact that it's being used. Like if I may use that word, I don't know by who.
Who is using?
It's being used to push for certain laws that are beneficial and of interest of somebody else. For instance, it was been accused that the BBI, for the fact that it did not go through the different from previously, it was supposed to come back through Parliament. And now we are also pushing. It's been said that Raila has been pushed to Kenyans through the law and through Parliament in itself. Do you feel the Parliament has been used?
Then if Raila was being pushed, then Raila would have not been campaigning. He would just sit down. He would have not have our Azimio Moja, the 10th of December, all these things he's doing. Because he knows that he's being pushed. You see? So what people are trying to portray
are you trying to tell me, Mwalimu, that this is not a way to push Raila to Kenyans?
Which Kenyans? Raila has been having Kenyans. You know very well that in 2013, Raila won. You know very well in 2017, you know the dispute. So Kenyans are with Raila also. So you can't say that Kenyans are only for the other people. There are no two containers of Kenyans. Kenyans are the same people. They only have the choice to be either on the left or the right. So when you bring a bill that is talking about party coalition to legalize and legitimate the way people are operating, it's not come with stay in marriage. You know, even in marriage you have to pay dowry. You must go get a document, isn't it? And you must also tell the family that you are marrying so and so. So in politics now they have seen that they come and stay system of a registration where Kenyans meet in a bar or in a hotel or in a church and say, we are going to marry you. Right. No, we go and marry, tell the priest that you are marrying, tell the sheikh that you are marrying, tell the court that you are marrying, and even tell the families. So the politics of Kenya is being organized on a legal framework, not on a legitimate framework. So that's the dimension.
Framework beneficial to Kenyans or beneficial to leaders?
Yes, anything that is beneficial to you is beneficial to everybody. Anything that is beneficial to me is also beneficial to everybody. Because if you talk about legally, you know, most time Kenya has been fighting that we have been so changed, the memorandum of agreement, the memorandum of understanding. You have seen these the Code Coalition, the Jubilee Coalition, even the Ruto and the president today. So we don't want a way system that where two people agree or a group of 100 people agree, let it be put on the constitution. Let's have a legal framework. Let's have a gazette notice. So that if you have a problem that you are going against, I'll take you to court. If I marry you and you are running away from me, I'll take you to court. There is a divorce way of doing things. So even in this coalition, there must be a pathway, an exit path, where people say, if you don't do 1, 2, 3, we shall go to court. But if you go to court, even remember the court, the ruling that was done a few years ago, when they say there is nothing that the coalition that are being made in Kenya has got no legal backing. And therefore, anybody can do whatever he wants. So we cannot trust everybody, because even Jesus himself was betrayed by his people. So even himself did not trust everybody.
The timing.
Even Mtume Muhammad, also was betrayed by other people.
It seems people have a problem with the timing at which this bill was being brought in Parliament. Is there a problem with the timing?
There's no timing. Kenyans are used to rush into time. Remember, Kimunya has explained this bill was there from 2013. Even the IBC bill was there from 2016. But people nag. They nag in their ways, I think. But when the opportunity has come for them to fix, then they have to increase the speed. This bill, they know, even if as the MP, when was this bill there? They know, they have the answer. So these are the bills that are pending. There are several bills that are pending, and they must be cleared, because we are ending the term. And therefore, the new dispensation must have a different approach, different management and resource system.
Right.
Yes.
This context of numbers that we have mentioned in here, and quote in your words, you say that the UDA party and the wing at which the deputy president comes with failed a lot in terms of marshalling the numbers.
Terribly.
My question is, who is fooling who? Are these MPs fooling the deputy president, or is it the other way around?
Number one, it is the approach, it is the perspective. UDA by today have got only one MP. Leave alone, these are the people you have just hired professional. If you are in a team like Gor Mahia or in Manchester, you cannot campaign. That's why in Europe they are saying a certain quota of players must come within the club, within the periphery of the club. Now with the UDA, out of 104 they are talking about, 103 are professional players. They are just people saying that we are a UDA by name. And that's why this bill is coming, that in future we shall not have such hooliganism, such harlots ways of doing things. It must be organized. So the UDA would not be saying by now, they would be saying we are Jubilee A or Jubilee B. And a few people that have poached from other parts. Right. Because you can't perceive, but they are saying UDA. But when you look at the legal as perspective, they have got only one MP. Even the deputy president is still a Jubilee. Even Dwell is still a Jubilee MP. Right. So in other countries, advanced countries, these people have lacked local standards to speak on this party. Right. They would have left for Kenyans who are members of the management to talk about. But then you say that UDA, and you know very well that when you look at the hazard, when you go to look at the parliamentary status, you will see that they have got only one MP from Kiambu.
Right.
Yes.
And also, talking about this whole issue about the controversial coalition bill here, it says also that do you feel also, stay on the numbers still, can this equate to this contest, can it be equated to whatever will be happening in 9th of August?
Obvious. Because I've told you.
Is it a clean sweep in August for Azimio?
But I'm telling you, if Azimio continues and the way they are continuing doing this thing, you know what you call perspective also matters. If they have won, they won in Parliament, wakati wa BBI, it's only court that helped them. If today court changes the way of seeing things, because that is activism, then they go to the Senate, they win. You know, if you keep on winning, other people will start panicking, seeing we're being shortchanged, like now saying, is the DP being shortchanged or being played? Right. So other ways, other regions will say, we are losing. We are losing in Parliament, we are losing everywhere. So, and these MPs will translate into votes in future, because they know they'll have to defend. They know that if we have shortchanged the deputy president, if he becomes president, he will be very bitter with us. Right. Because some of them have been bought by him.
And talking about how people are pulling other people together to work and form coalitions and alliances ahead of the 2022 elections, of course, 7 months to go. There's this aspect that is coming out here. Like, for instance, you, the side of the Azimio, feel we've gotten the support in the in Parliament, considering we have Jubilee members of Parliament joining forces with the ODM. And right now, the deputy president stands alone. But still, in as much as he's standing alone, he gives you a hard time to pass in such bills. Don't you think you should be worried to some extent? There's
no hard time, because this was a little only noise on the other side. And this one was logistic part of that. So if we would have said, let's vote from one vote, yes or no, it would have taken the shortest time. It was only that it is a procedure in Parliament that people must debate, the nay and the yes must be engaged,
right,
so that it be seen that there's something being done. But if these people just said, okay, let's wake up, call the bell, number one, vote yes, number two, vote. You will see that it was just a game.
Azimio allied MPs,
Yes.
did they vote understanding the content of the bill, or they just voted simply because this is the party position?
Both of them voted on the way they were mobilized. The Azimio people, they had prepared, they have gone through all these bills and they have agreed. The NAIS team, they were also guided on how to come up. This is, if you've been a debater, you know, proposer and opposer. It's only the proposer can have 12 points, the opposers have 13 points.
Right.
Or they have 13, but you see it will depend on how people have put up their case. So this scenario, it is not an issue of the NAIS and whatever. All of them knew the good things that are there. Only that we must oppose. Like when we were discussing a teacher is better than a doctor. Those people who have debated on a teacher is better than those who support teachers, they will know. And the people who propose the doctors, they also know how to argue their cases, but they know inwardly who is better than the other.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is the problem at which most Kenyans feel our MPs are letting us down.
Yes.
We vote them into the legislature,
and
once they get there, instead of using their own capacity and brains to argue and decide the individual, they just seem to take party positions, and they hold brief for people.
You must know, Ogeche, before you come to this studio, you must have rehearsed so many things. You must have prepared the system. When a debate, a motion is being brought forward, there are procedures, there are committees, where if you are an MP like me, if I'm the MP of Jom, I will be there in those committees where I know that they are sensitive, because you are allowed, whether you don't belong to the committee, but you have the interest of your people, you will be giving your opinion in those stages. You are allowed. So by the time the MP who is serious has brought his ideas, and either in writing or verbally, then it is brought to Parliament for debate, it is people have decided which side to be. So it's not an issue that you are blaming them that whatever. I know some of them don't even know what the calendar, they don't know even at what time. We have seen them, and we can't blame them because it is the electorates. The voters are the ones who have taken it. Some of them cannot cope up because the language is supposed to be there. The material that is there, some of them cannot internalize. We must agree. Yeah, we must agree. If you take a class 4 there or a class 8 or whatever, sometimes you can't get that material.
Very true.
Yes, and you have seen how they are debating.
I want to take a short break here, but before that, the Ruto side had a list of amendments that they brought on board, they brought forward, that they needed to be ironed out before we have a discussion around that. Do you feel in your own capacity as a politician that some of those amendments and were kind of genuine?
Yes, they are entitled, they are thinking. And we cannot regulate somebody's idea. So like the Duale bill was saying that he wants that there must be against it, that after nomination, after nomination of between April to June, to May, that those people who have lost in nomination are supposed to be allowed. They are supposed to be allowed to go and contest on independent. And you see, the bill is saying that let us thrash it. If you want to go independent, just declare earlier. If you want to join another party, because there are several parties, that's why there's coalition party. Right. You will decide which party to go.
Do you think such an argument is quite, has a bit of sense?
No, it's now going to be irrelevant at this perspective. At this time when we have several parties, we have about 100 parties. So why should you participate again in a nominee, then again leave? And we have been, according to this bill, people have been prepared psychologically that there will be no defection after nomination. Even the IBC brought that bylaw. So at that point we are saying, because we have several parties, and within the coalition, you find a coalition will have even 10. Choose. If you feel that you don't see this as democracy here, choose earlier. If you subscribe to a party like UD and you are loyal, if you lose, support the other person, life continues. We must also try to have what we call professionalism in this organization. Like now we are competing, we are campaigning now. What we want to see that which are the tools, the procedures that have been set. If it is the election board at the county level, how many representatives from the aspirants? If you have 5 aspirants, if we have a board which is elected, which is organized this election, every aspirant is supposed to contribute. If there are 40 people, 10, then we see that there is transparency of that. So that means that the logical argument was relevant in the previous year. But at that particular time, now we are talking about coalition, where we are talking about various parties there. I don't see we need to say that people are getting defect. What we say, let people decide where they belong.
The earlier the better.
The earlier the better.
Very true.
Yes.
Right. I want to take a short break here. When you come back, Mwalimu will be talking about the entails of the bill itself.
Yeah.
There's something there called coalition party.
Yeah.
What is that? What does it entail? And going forward, does it even, is it practical in our country? Just to get back to you.
Yes.
When we are mentioning about the entails of this political parties amendment bill,
yes.
There is something that is known as coalition party.
Yes.
And saying to us that, this bill seeks to introduce something called coalition party in a layman's language for the common man to understand, it's a bill, yes, and to them it may be so complex. What does it mean?
It means that a group of parties will join together and have an umbrella. Like you see if you're at the community, village level, there are several welfare groups. There are several welfare groups, say maybe Mritini welfare, Kwajumbu welfare, Bezumbe welfare, Kibarani welfare. Then they say, let us have one unit, so that when there's a converging zone, it's where we meet. So when you have all these groups, so Mritini, Jomvu, and Mikinani will now form Jomvu sub-county or Jomvu constituency. So where they come to air and share their differences.
Right.
So agree and disagree. So when you come to political parties, there are several parties which will join together, like OCOA already. They have OCOA means what?
One Kenya Alliance.
One Kenya Alliance. So they can also say One Kenya Alliance coalition.
So in a nutshell,
so the Ford Kenya, the Kano and others, they can agree that let's have agreement, written agreement. Then we take it to court so that it is recognized as a legal entity.
Let me ask this. Let's take for a good example, the One Kenya Alliance.
Yeah.
So whatever this bill is saying here is that One Kenya Alliance can be registered as a political party or what?
They will also as a coalition. So now as you will, Umoja is a coalition. So they can now say that it's not alliance, it's now One Kenya Alliance coalition. I get that. So that whatever they are agreeing under the roof will now be brought on open air and taken to court and be deposited with the registered political party.
Right.
So it becomes a legal entity, binding legally. So somebody can go to court. Previously, it was come and we stay.
So
where we agree.
We just agree.
It's a gentleman agreement. Yes.
And it's not registered by
the it's not registered by political party. You just deposit as a whatever. But it has no weight. It did not give the teeth to the registered political party to also evaluate that, monitor and evaluate that are you following, are you abiding by whatever you're doing? I see. So it's now going to make sure that there's no exit valve.
Exactly.
And it can also be aid in part. You can go to court and have a legal backing from court. Remember, the court had a problem with that with the interpretation of this alliance.
Right.
So they say these alliances were just like come and we stay in marriage, which of late Kenyans have also legitimized that after 6 months, it is a wife, a husband and a wife. Because the people are saying, I stay, after a few months, I divorce you, I go to another one.
Right. And talking about...
And you have seen now political parties where somebody is elected on ODM, he runs away after election for 3 to 4 years, then he comes back say he's coming back, he's now going back and buying his way and saying, I belong to whatever. You have seen very many parties. Even those who are saying that they are in order, 101, only one MP is supposed to be talking on behalf of order. All these 104 are coming from Jubilee, are coming from Odium, are coming from Fort Kenya. That is political prostitution, which must be curtailed by this constitution.
So you want to tell me this political prostitution that you're mentioning will be stopped by this?
By this, because the bill is saying that if you say I am now leaving Ozimio, I'm joining Oka, you will have to resign. And you used that one before.
Formally you resigned.
Yeah, you resigned from, and Jaramogi did in 1969, where when you change the vision and ideas, you move.
So do you think that this coalition party, whatever, will be killing the spirit of multi-partyism?
But you see, all these, if you have 10 parties, these parties are independent. This is just an umbrella.
There's someone they're talking of fielding joint candidates.
No, they are just doing joint candidates. But you can't look at those the ingredients. There are some areas you will find like Upia in Marsabit. It will be only one party. So those candidates that are coming from Upia will be taken as Azimio candidates. Look at a place like in Garissa Moyale, where the clans decide who's, and one of the clans has said is Ogecha, it is Ogecha who is going to be what? The candidate. And it is as fixed, it's clear. So in that scenario, where Ogecha has been declared, there's nobody campaigning, he becomes a Zimio candidate. In a place like Soba or whatever, once they have done nomination, and one person and one election is over, so that becomes a candidate over them. But where people have got different competing parties, like in Mombasa, where you will find there's Oda, there is Fordham, there is Fort Kenya, there is whatever, they will, all of them will be candidates. In the previous election, we had a coalition of NAS, but they were candidates for Viper, they were candidates for NEC, they were for Kenya. Like now we have there will be several candidates for peace and whatever.
Why do you think, Mwalimu, the other side is opposing this coalition party thing?
There's a game of debate. I told you, these people, they don't think that they are differing so much. It's just a little debate, yes or no. So it is their role, it's their role to debate. So you cannot just these are not a bunch of fools. They are people with diversity of opinion. So when you put them there, they will see it differently. And that's why there's a beauty of education. Because Kenyans are not fools. These are learned people. They must, as lawyers, they have to internalize and interpret. Even the court of law, people agree. You take a lawyer who says, no, this guy has not killed. It does not mean that they are grudges. But we want an organized system where people don't see to be fighting. Let's do debate, as we debate even in the media. If I was here with somebody who's opposing, we would not be fighting. He says his opinion, I say my opinion. And that's why we say the majority have their say.
Right. When it comes to depositing the agreement at the Office of Registrar of Political Parties, it's also sparked a lot of conversation at its timing. Others want it to be 4 months, others are saying no, it's too early, let's push it to 6 months.
We must
have have any problem there?
Now, initially, they were talking 6 months. There's a new team came up and said, let us come to middle ground. Let's come to 4 months. And that's why it carries the day.
Why is it being rushed?
It's not being rushed because election must be organized for us. There are stages of election. But there will be party nomination.
Don't you think we'll be locking out some other small parties?
Which parties? All the parties have been registered. If they are 87, they are registered. Yes. They have to decide which side they want to be.
Between now and the 4 months, don't you think it will be so limited time for them to decide on which side that's
any serious political party, by March, they have known how many are their candidates. So when they know, some will only have 2 candidates, others will have 10 candidates. They will know that now these are our candidates. Then we say, which side are we sharing ideas with? It's a matter of sharing ideas. It's not a matter of fight.
Right.
See, we see we are with the other side, or we are the left or the right. And sometimes you will be left, right, in the middle. So you decide. 4 months, my brother. By 4 months, it will be which month? Because
Right.
Election, only 2 months to election. You want us to have a coalition in the month of August or June, where people are confused, there's nothing going to take place.
Very true.
A regulator in the name of political party. Once you have brought registered political party, once you have brought all the things and you have deposited them, it becomes a tool of the state. So I have told you one of it, there will be nobody, when you have taken a debate in parliament,
Right.
and the parties have agreed, this is what you are saying, you are not supposed to oppose. I get it? Yes. So even if you are in the opposition, you don't expect that my people will be bought and then they start abusing you. Like what you have been seeing, where people are now running away from the president party, they abuse the president, but they're earning from the president party. You have seen people running away from Modem, they are busy people, and they're earning from Modem. You have seen people running away from WIFA, they abuse the political party, and they're earning from that. It is not, that is immoral, my brother. Even a church is regulated. You cannot say that when the preacher is reading the Bible, you are reading Quran. Or in the mosque, the preacher is using Quran, where you are using the Bible. And you are saying you are talking to God, all of them are God. There must be a practice. Yeah.
True. Now, in the part at which they are saying they can have to field joint candidates.
Yes.
And there is where the bond of qualification is, at which procedure they are supposed to be using to pick up those joint candidates.
Young man, I have told you several times. When you have 10 political parties within a coalition, to say the PNU is with ODM, the PNU will put their candidates. When a candidate is not satisfied, it will be in ODM. And if in Mombasa with this ODM, there's PA, there is PNU, there's Jubilee, there is DEMPA, there's a left, there's so many parties.
Right.
I get it. Once a candidate, if that party has said we were nominated, in ODM, that is all. ODM was given them. Then when they have agreed that in Mombasa, we are going, like last time ODM coalition, they had agreed that Joe is going to be their coalition candidate. Then nobody, the NASA accepted, Amani coalition accepted, Yamdabadi, Wipe accepted, and the rest. And they went like that.
True. There's a question here, Mwalimu.
Yes.
A very valid one.
Correct.
Do you think a law to instill sanity in political parties should have preceded the contentious bill?
Come up again.
The guy asks here, do you think, ask Mwalimu whether if he thinks a law to instill sanity in political parties should have preceded the contentious bill?
He doesn't understand what he's talking about. He's bringing the word preceded. The bill is the same. So the bill was to be discussed among the members of parliament, which they did extensively. They know the nay and the yes. When a bill has been taken into parliament, it becomes a tool of the parliament.
Right.
The members will have to put a vote. Once the vote has been casted, then whether you are supported or don't support, you must abide to it. Therefore, there's nothing was contentious. The issue of contention is only like you would have said it was a heated debate. It's not contentious. It is a debate.
Very true. Another question here. It says, on the bill, public participation is key value and the principle of governance, and it was not sorted. Do you think ignoring the public is in itself right?
Which public are you talking about?
First and foremost, was there public participation?
There was a public participation.
Where?
Ask them. Ask those people. The JLAC, ask them. They were, in fact, the speaker.
Did you have any session where you were called as a public person to go?
How many bills have you participated? When this bill comes, there are a group of people are being called. So if I'm not captured as an organization, it does not mean the Kenyans are not participating. They said the Law Society of Kenya participated. They said Shirika Democracy, they participated. They have called those people. So if the issue that there is no public participation, let them go to court. It is the court which will decide whether there was no political participation or whatever. And the role of the parliament is to debate on the bills. So if there is a problem, then there is an exit path. They can go to court. But at the moment, according to what we are being told and what we are saying, we are saying that there was public participation. And even the MPs at the moment we are discussing, there was nothing like public participation was not there. You realize they were debating only on the merit and demerit of the law.
Right.
Did you hear them talk about public participation? No, because they knew. They know, they have their ways of public participation. So the public participation does not mean the 47 million of Kenya, the 55 million of Kenya will participate in that discussion.
For instance, Mwalimu, if they go to court, don't you think that is a ground enough to, rule it out?
The court must measure. The court is not an activist court. We look at the instruments that are given. There are documents. Yeah, when there are procedures, all these steps, they will look at the checklist. Was it discussed in Parliament? Where was it discussed? Where was this one? Where was the GILA? Where whatever? They will look at the checklist. So they're not just going to say we throw it. They will say give us a document. That's why these records, you will see when there's a case in court, volumes of books are taken there for those who read. So let's not assume that this thing will go to court.
Right. I want to take a short break here, Mwalimu. When we come back, we'll be finishing on that and also looking at another interesting matter here that pertains to the 2022 election on 9th August. But before then, can you look Kenyans into the eye and tell them this is what we need now?
I'm looking at you, you are also Kenyan. This is what we need now. Because you are also
we are taking a short break. We'll be coming back in a moment. Don't go too far. It's about politics, and if you hear what he says, and he feels that this is what Kenyans feel that they should have. And of course, he's mentioning that this will bring sanity into the way at which our political parties operate and the ways at which we also create and craft our coalitions. But before then, Mwalimu,
yes,
we have had an issue of how we share the political party fund. Yeah. And it's also explained within the bill in itself. And people feel also, to some extent, small political parties will benefit out from the funds if this bill is going to be passed. Is there an assurance about that?
The bill has been passed.
It's going to be right. We're waiting for the Senate.
The Senate will concur because it is well decided, and even if they differ, they will harmonize.
Right.
So, because let's not cheat people that will not. We must agree. Number two,
right?
Number two, when we talk about a political party, a political party or a coalition is just like a family. If you are a father and you have 12 wives, you might make sure that every wife must get a share.
Right.
And when every wife has got a share, every child of that household will get a share.
True.
That is the African way of doing things. So the political bill will now organize a way, like a family law, where the political party will say, how much millions have you received? On the strength of the vote we got. Now they are defining about the vote. Where some people wanted money and they don't look at the vote they brought in. So they look at how much or how much vote do they get from this party.
Right.
So then they say, we got from PA 500,000 vote. We got from ODM.
What criteria would they use to find out?
Yes, so they look at how many MPs were elected.
True.
And even the candidates that stood on these political parties, that stand on these political parties, they will see, Hello got 100,000 as a senator. The other person got 500,000 as a governor. They are that 600,000. They look at the woman rep, got 300,000. That is how much. Then they look at the senator got how much. Then they look at the MCAs per every. They look the ad. Then the total vote casted for that political party. So you must say that this political party got 1 million votes.
So let's give
Kadu got this. So it will be the total vote cast. If it was you got 15 million or 20 million from Azimio. Take 1 million and 20 million multiplied by the amount. That is capital share.
Right.
How do you share that?
So do you feel, Mwalimu, like this arithmetic that is being played here will go in solving the issues that we've had about political share?
Yes, you get your share. Even in a cooperative share, you will get dividend based on the share capital you have.
Right.
If you have 50,000,
what is the difference
and
from whatever we used to have earlier? What is the difference?
The difference that they were saying, we are going to share the money, political party's money, based on the vote we have got from the political party,
Right.
which was not engraved. They were not engraved on that one. So nobody was looking at how many votes did you get from this political party.
Right.
So it was not in the political party rule. They just took a blank check. We are in a coalition party. We have agreed on that. The presidential candidate is so and so gauge. The deputy president is alone. You see, then it's deposited, but they don't put how the criteria of sharing this money. So the money was being given to the party with a lot of.
If supposing we have political party A, and it's quite small compared to other political parties that have formed a coalition, do they even stand a chance also of getting something out from the political party?
They will get a chance because once a political party has filled a candidate from the MCA, MP, senator, and the governor, they will be seen. You see, both of the small political parties, they will not present a presidential candidate,
Right.
but they will present the candidates and the vote casted. And you know, sometimes it's moral obligation.
Right.
When you work together harmoniously, so you can even get more than what you have based on the discipline, even at a family level. You know that sometimes, I remember you were a very big family. So you will see that somebody's plate is bigger than the other. You don't know which criteria is used. What about Ogechi always get 2 loaves. Fatuma gets half a loaf. And you don't know. And it is agreed.
Right.
But sometimes where a family becomes fair, they say, let's give each and every person top up. Sometimes somebody has bad appetite. So akikula akimaliza ndio anaongezewa. Na wewe ukikula akimaliza yako unajua no wewe now.
This arrangement also presents yet another nightmare, as it will end up locking small parties that exist in areas perceived to be backyards of bigger outfits. Here, the biggest worry is within the small parties here.
Are you having a smaller party yourself? Which worry? Every political party is given a blank sheet to fill candidates. So if you have a weaker candidate, that's for you. If you get a better candidate, you will win. I told you to debate here.
Okay.
You will won here in a coalition.
To say like this is a small party.
There is no small party. By now, when the political, after the dissolution of parliament, all parties will be at zero. They will be at equilibrium. So they will only be bigger on the number of candidates, number of MPs they have, how many numbers of governors they have. So how do you measure the smaller party? They are only small because they have not participated in the election. Some of the bigger parties will stand to be small, and the smaller party will become big.
Last but not least, what can we look forward to the Senate once they begin the sitting about discussing this whole issue?
Parliament has done a thorough job.
Were you happy with the showdown of kicks and blows?
Yes. No, I was not happy on the primitive part of it, but I was happy on the way they articulate facts. You know, facts cancel a fact. So that is what I was happy that they can express. The few MPs who came up with a platform on the floor to discuss, they brought a brief, and I think the quality of discussion was high. Even the Commonwealth and even the US, they will see that Kenyans are really mature.
Right.
Only the part of making noise and that is normal. And I know they did a lot of work.
You tell me that's the Kenyan way?
No, we don't want that. We say that the next parliament, we want civilized people. We want people who discuss with decorum and orders. Right. So that one, we are growing. So we believe when they go to Senate, all those gaps that are there, they can be thrashed. If they differ on some areas, they will do what you call concurrence. They'll call the 2 houses will sit together and agree. That's what we are saying.
Right. But do you anticipate for also a clean sweep for Azimio?
Obvious, Azimio. That will be obvious because the Senate is not, they are not corrupt. These are most of them. The Lord is a higher echelon of the political parties. We expect that the higher house will discuss and disseminate information in a very clear way, and think that after the Senate, this Kulagabul, all these things will die naturally. They will thrash all those areas and agree, and they'll pass it because they have the numbers.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to finish on this question that touches on, I think, those who are contesting for various positions.
Yeah.
And the fact that somebody feels that you are part and parcel of Azimio, and you are also an aspirant to Jombo.
Yeah.
Somebody asks here, On 31st December, Raila declared that he has done away with universal suffrage in the ODM primaries as an aspirant for Jomvu constituency. Do you agree that delegate system, consensus, and opinion polls will be good to go?
I want that guy to understand what we call the underlying factor, where possible. Like in, for example,
where possible.
Where possible.
There's the word where possible.
Where possible. That is why they have come with those ones. They have come with the delegates. They have come with consensus. They have come with the next one. So they are saying, in a place, I give you example of the Northeastern.
Right.
Mandera, Moyale, where community, once they have given you a ticket, it is through.
It's true.
That is consensus. I get it. Where it is hotly contested, they'll go to delegate.
Right.
Where they know, and this one now, the worries of ODM by that time, or as you know, was that other parties will come and gang up and help a weaker candidate to win. But now they are talking about the party register. So when we are coming to election at that practical part, that is where we are now going to agree. Where the candidates are 2 or 3 and they are at the same level, we cannot see who is weak there. They will go for the delegate. That is the members of the party, not the universal suffrage. The issue of ID will not be used in the political party. So they have realized that some parties could export people from other areas to come and vote. So this time, if you are popular, the delegate will decide.
Right.
They'll decide. And you must know that from now up to April is a very long time. You know that in Yombo, by 2017, we were 8 candidates in audience.
Right.
We went, by March, others disappeared. We remained with Zai.
Right.
Who ran on 28th, by 26th of March, ran away. And Badi came in on 28th of March, after the expiry period of time, and came up as a candidate. So all these candidates we are talking about, they are talking about candidates. They will disappear. Some of them don't even have ID. They'll disappear. All these counting says you are counting.
Right.
So they will have, they must have ID, they must have a certificate, they must have money to pay. Some kind of things that they will be paid by the party. By the time when we are going for a nomination in March, in April, you will be surprised. Other parties will not even have candidates. They will change. That's why they say they will nominate.
Right.
Where they only have one candidate. If they have one candidate, who is going to vote?
True.
Who's going to vote there? So there are areas that there will be no candidate. You just want a party get one candidate who want to contest. Yeah, there are areas you candidates will just be faced and be given the direct nomination because there are no other candidates.
In a nutshell, are you still in the contest 2022, Molim, August 9?
That's why he asked me a question. I'm a candidate. It is known. You have looked at all my Facebook page,
Right,
you have looked at my WhatsApp, you have looked at my Twitter, you have looked at my TikTok, you have looked at my visa, you have looked at all those ones. I know that Danalo is a candidate for Jomvu 2022 on ODM ticket, and we are ready to do that one.
You have
now, the Jiko of the Victoria will go to we shall be there.
Vijiko vya jikoni?
I will go to
And so, to you, nomination and party primaries is not an issue of a concern?
If you are popular, we will vote for you. If it is free and fair, you will win if you are popular. If you don't win, support the other.
Right.
Where it is free and fair, my brother, everything footprint showing that this thing is free and fair, we shall participate.
Now, let me ask you this on camera, Molim, as we finish. For instance, you get yourself into nomination and it does not work in your favor.
Yeah.
And you have been locked now from contesting as an independent.
Yeah.
Will you go just home and relax and say,
Yeah,
okay?
I will campaign for the party, that's obvious. I'm a lot of party. I've been in the party, I participated in so many things. Even last election, I went independent. I was campaigning for the governor, I was campaigning for the Senate, I was campaigning for the woman rep, I was campaigning for the president of the party. So I will decide. After that, if it is free and fair, I will support the person who has won.
And if it's not free and fair?
If it is free and fair, if it's not free and fair, I will support the president, I support the governor, or I will support the person I feel that was given free and fair election.
Right.
So we should not be worried. Anybody who is campaigning, because nomination not the end of the life. There are so many posts after this nomination.
Of course.
Yeah, it's once you call it.
I mean, it's Molim who speak to your constituency.
Yes. My members, my people of Jomvu constituency, Mombasa County, we are presenting ourselves as candidates on parliamentary seats as Dan Alo, Aka Ngome Tambaye, na nasema Tano Fresh, I want you to campaign for me across Jomvu, from Kibarani to Bonyi, Maganda to Jomvu, Ganaola to Mamlai. You know that Jomvu, we have been having problems. Basari inauzwa ovyo ovyo, mnaona. Umaskini haipati basari. Wale wamama wako na organization zao, wakipata pesa za wamama hawapati. Mnajua. Maji hampati Jomvu. Kazi vijana wa Jomvu, kama kuna mtu ambao amepewa kazi Maeba, anafanya municipal, anafanya KPA katika hapa, anafanya kazi nzuri. Ganaola Kibarani, aje nipatie 100 anwe soda. Unajua barabara yetu kutoka Mikindani kuenda Aldina mpaka ufike Jomvu ni mbovu kabisa. Hiyo ni shida ya uongozi baya. Barabara kwa Mwanzia haipitiki, shida ya uongozi mbovu. Ukifika Bangladesh bridge ya Bangladesh kuunganisha Mikindani ili katika kitambo watoto wa shule wanapata tabu. Na tunaomba muende hiyo kwa bridge, mweke asubuhi uone vile hapo. Ukienda mtaa wa Giriamani pale Bangladesh, barabara imetengenezwa na watu wa community shift. Ukienda Gomora haipitiki. Ukienda kwa Punda haipitiki. Ukienda Fugashati haipitiki. Hata kwa mbunge mwenyewe huko ile yake bado Juchoni iko na shida mpaka Mreroni. Kwa hivyo tunasema, na mnajua hati ya kumiliki shamba, wale wote ambao wako na magorofa zao pale, wale wako kama squatter, wako na only lease. Wale wafanyabiashara pale, unajua vile